Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny, the meditative morning show about newspaper comics. We're reaching the end of the tenor of the Church of EDIF, which, out of context, if this is like your first ep, that sentence made just no sense at all. But you also don't want to keep recapping because you do have I don't know. I'm trying to turn the podcast into a church. That's the bit. By doing new commandments every day. Today is the 9th commandment of the Church of EDIF. And, a few days ago, I realized the core one that we hadn't gotten to for a while, which was, thou shalt read newspaper comics. That was a lip smack. But I thought there's this other aspect of the show that's so core to its tenets that we hadn't gotten to yet, and that is what the 9th commandment will be reflecting. And the 9th commandment is actually from the point of view of the morning. So on the tablet where it's chiseled in, it's first a parentheses, from the point of view of the morning, close parentheses. And the commandment is, I am your time of day. You shall have no other parts of the day above me. Furthermore, this is all still chiseled into the tablet. Furthermore, not that last part, but you get what I mean. Furthermore, in the timeless game of F, marry, kill, morning must always be put in the marry column. From there, it is up to you. I, the morning, would recommend putting the night in the F column and afternoon in the kill. Afternoon is trying to have it both ways. I don't call myself pre-noon, but also I try and be my own thing. So all of that is the 9th commandment. A little wordy, but the morning likes to talk, I suppose. But just to say, a crucial tenet of this podcast is celebrating the morning. And afternoon is just afternoon is like brunch. It's trying to take a lot of different things and just amalgamate its own thing from already existing stuff. And I don't think nobody does celebrate the afternoon, but I just want to make it known where our stance is. What are you doing? Afternoon. This is for the morning. I also, before we get to the comics, did just want to read the 2 submissions we received for the previous Out of Context comic competition, the second ever for EDIF. This is where I give an Out of Context comic strip from the subreddit Out of Context Comics and ask listeners to say what they think is happening in the scenario. The comic we're referring to today is a little girl named Nancy, and she's crying with her hands on her face. She's thinking of 3 wanted posters. 1, Al Capone, and there's a picture of Al Capone. 1, Dillinger, there's a picture of Dillinger. And then 1 of Nancy herself. It's a very silly, weird image. And so I asked y'all what is happening in this scenario, and we got 2 responses. First, from Missy Elliott. Missy, thank you so much for submitting. I actually don't know if you're still putting out tunes, but just for you to take the time away is great. Email address, theog@gmail.com. It's cool you got that one. What's happening in this scene? Missy Elliott says, Mary gets her just desserts for her instrumental role in the planning of Dillinger's escape plan. What? Okay, I get it. You did say Mary instead of Nancy. I think you mean Nancy. But it does, the first word is wrong, Missy, so it's kind of where do we go from here in taking this submission seriously, I do like it. You also spelled desserts as deserts, but that I kind of more knew what you were going for. Saying Mary instead of Nancy, let's just face facts, it was a flub, man. Missy. But great submission, thank you so much. The other submission from little Nancy herself. Wow, at the email address littlenance@edif.cult. I might have to look into what that is. What's happening in this scene? And poor little Nancy took the fall. Pinned as the true leader of the Everyday is Funny cult, Nancy serves life in prison for misleading, scamming, extortion, and endangerment of local wildlife. Adam Oppenheimer walked free as he successfully convinced everyone he was simply the figurehead and as much a victim as everyone else involved. He reportedly started a new cult 5 months later, centered around a podcast about 90s monster-themed serials. He remains at large. All right, we don't have to harp on this submission too long. I would, maybe I'll edit this one out. Nothing going on my end. I am simply a figurehead, and I am kind of just a victim as much as everyone else involved. This is not a cult. Everyday is Funny is not a cult. The Church of EDIF is not a cult. I'm simply a vessel for which to spread the word of Talia, the Greek goddess of laughter and idyllic poetry. This is fine. Let's move on to the comics. Thank you for your submission, little Nancy. All right, starting with Family Circus. We see the mother doing some laundry as her daughter has a friend over, and her daughter says to the friend, her real name is Thel, but we call her Mommy for short. That's very cute. How has that not come up? In the entire history of Family Circus, you don't think that joke's been said like maybe 10 times already? Like kid using parents' first name? There's no way this is the first instance of that. We've also seen, I've said this like maybe the last time we read The Family Circus, the mother just looks so over the family as a whole. She's doing all these chores, she's got kids disrespecting her by like calling her first name. It just like isn't. Look at her face in this strip. She wants out. It's kind of sad. Like she is not amused by her daughter's comment. Because these kids do ride this line between smugness, it's like this daughter can be sort of an evil genius if she wanted to be. Just playing dumb at certain things and knowing other things. And you just have this mom just along for the ride as this kid makes snide comments as you have to like be the mom character who like doesn't get a lot of the jokes for the strip, or she's never like in on the joke or part of it. She's always like, and now we're gonna lead a normal family life, right? And then her kid's like, well, I actually think this. And then she's like, all right, shut up. Like, how did you become this way? I raised you to be very normal. And what does her daughter's friend think? Like, yeah, dude, I call my mom too. You're not that interesting. This family's not that different and crazy. Mary Worth. Oh, we've left the conversation between Wilbur and his daughter, and now it's between his daughter and Mary Worth herself. She's gone to Mary's house while Mary's gardening and just kind of walks up to her. She just does well, I'll get to this after. Mary says, hello, Dawn. I didn't expect to see you until summer's end. Did you have a nice time in Connecticut? Dawn says, Mary... Why is she saying her first name like this? Mary, things didn't work out with my mother, and she asked me to return to my dad before we planned. Mary says, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Dawn's just being like, you know what I mean? Like, things didn't work out. Again, such vague information about what happened. I don't care for that. Also, Dawn yet again makes me believe that she's in the wrong. She keeps just showing up places. Why does she not tell anyone about her arrival status? Like, she wouldn't just call Mary and be like, hey, I'm actually in town. Can I come over and chat? She like sneaks up behind her while she's gardening, and Mary's like, oh, all right. Didn't expect to see you for months. Certainly not just arriving as I'm trying to relax and garden. And then she just opens, like she doesn't say hi. The daughter does not say hi. she just says, Mary, things didn't work out with my mother. Like, she's just going up to anyone in town she knows to be as melodramatic as possible and, like, put blame on a mom but never give specific reasons about why. And you know, tomorrow we're gonna get, like, a mimic of the conversation between Wilbur and Dawn. And Wilbur's just gonna be replaced by Mary, and Mary's just gonna be like, what happened? What didn't you agree with? Politics, food, men, money? And Dawn's gonna be like, all of it. Politics, food, men, money. Oh, poor Mary. Mary's just like doing a lot of nice things for people. And we were about to see her like romance with a man, Jeff, who owned the boat that they took Stellan out to sea on, but then like they just bailed on that. Did things not work out? Or did things work out too well and it was too explicit for a newspaper comic to see? I know these are fake people and nothing actually happened. All right, Rex Morgan time. Yesterday, we were about to see a violent punch as the bully's dad confronts the bully about getting caught for sending Parker to the hospital. And he was an alcoholic, and he was intoxicated, and he was getting very violent with his son. Wow, this is an interesting development, and probably a good cop-out to not show child abuse. This is not the thing to laugh about. Anyway, but we're not seeing the hit. The headline is The Apartment Next Door. And we see through the wall, we see the people who live next door, but we hear through the wall, worthless kid, smack, ow, dad, stop. But we see this couple who lives next door. The wife says, are you hearing this? The dad says, can't help but hear it. Sounds like he's really hurting the kid. Do we call the police? The man says, yeah, I'm on it, as the kid says, ow, through the wall. Wow. Very interesting. We're doing a lot of different jumps around to settings and characters. Just this random couple that we'll never get a backstory on, but they must have heard things through the wall before. This guy is clearly a repeated offender in terms of being aggressive and mean and intoxicated and violent. A lot of pictures of flowers in this random couple's apartment. At least 5 random pictures of flowers. Actually, I'd say at least 6, because these are from different angles. Yeah, there's at least 6 pictures of flowers. I'm not worried about that, but I'm not worried about that. I guess it's to symbolize their purity in regards and in contrast to the man next door. They're kind of righteous and he's not, but I would say over 3 pictures of flowers on the wall, and something just isn't right. Something isn't right. Let me think of what to comment. Okay, I'm gonna comment because the author of the comic did not draw in all the numbers properly on this man's phone as he's calling the police, and I see multiples of certain numbers. So my comment's gonna be the man saying, honey, why do I have 2 2s and 2 6s on my keypad? Did you swap out my phone for the joke phone again? And the woman goes, maybe. The idea of a couple having a joke phone is so funny to me. Like, just to spice up the relationship, sometimes they swap in the joke phone. But this is like the worst timing of that, when physical violence is happening next door. Oh, amazing. Send. All right. Time to wind down for this Monday, July 15th. Hope you have a wonderful start to your week. And remember, every day is funny.